Welcome to Sudakshta Solution Oriented People Index Test. It is a groundbreaking test as it helps you in identifying the people who have the right mindset, right innovation, right creativity to lead the organization forward. Let's first understand what is Sudakshta. Sudakshta is a platform where we find to assess the individuals, its behaviors, its traits, its competencies. वैसे तो आप लोगों ने बहुत कुछ सुना होगा. ज़्यादातर समय हम कंपनीज में अलग अलग टेस्ट यूज करते हैं. वी यूज मल्टीपल टेस्ट, बट व्हाट वी डू इज जनरली when we take the test we immediately give the results. This may be right, may not be right, but what we do in Sudakshta is we use AI powered test where every individual has to go through it. At the first stage, we take the individual into as is where is test, where we ask her or him to do a competency mapping. वो चाहे कुछ भी करे, कुछ भी जाने, लेकिन उनसे ये पता चलता है we come to know what he or she exactly is. Most of the tests अगर आप देखोगे तो क्या करते हैं, जैसे ही इंडिविजुअल टेस्ट देता है आपको एक रिजल्ट मिल जाता है. यू गेट द रिजल्ट्स. हियर वी डोंट डू दैट. व्हाट वी डू हियर इज once you execute the test you don't get the results. We put you to part B of the test, that is unmasking the masking. This is very important, very relevant. Why it is important, why it is relevant? Because most of the tests at the time of executions are influenced or prejudiced or biased. Here what we use is the individual's data set, the individual's user profile. और ये बहुत जरूरी है. This is very important. Why? Let's understand. This is important because we have to first find out the intricacies of the individual, the insights of the individual. Will it come on its own? No, it will not come. So how will it come? What is the tool we have? So Sudakshta gives you the tool to do it. So what we do, whatever results has come in the part B, we put it all where it is more than 7.5, which is the benchmark we have taken, and put him to another test which is called unmasking the masking. Why this unmasking is important? This unmasking is important because in every sphere of life, every day, in every stage, we marks ourselves. So why unmasking is important? Unmasking is important because we need to know the real self, the real executable skills. So what we do? What we do is, in this test, we give you 3 types of validation tests. It is up to the individual to choose what test he wants to choose for the validation. I am Dr. Rajesh Kumar Modi. I have done doctorate in management and education and have got expertise in organizational psychology. I have got 27 years of experience and I've also worked with big companies like Hindware, ACC, Everest Industry, Airtel, and so on. Let's understand what is solution oriented mindset. Do we have a tool to predict what type of people we are hiring, what mindset we are hiring? So what is the solution? Do we have the tool to know the mindset? It's not easy to answer that, but yes, Sudakshta has the tool. It is of great need in every organization that they should be able to find the right mindset of people who can take the organization forward, who can solve their problems, who can be creative, innovative, and have the abilities of solving the problems. This type of people are solution oriented. They hardly complain about the problem but come up with the best solution. Let's now talk on solution oriented mindset. What if there was a way to predict how candidates will perform in real business situation? Are we able to predict how the individual will behave? What will be the result? No, we don't have a tool. So what we do? Here comes Sudakshta. We have a tool which is called Sudakshta Solution Oriented Mindset Index Test. Do we have the tool to identify people? What type of people they have? Whatever people they want? They may be wanting a particular set of people, but do we know that what type of hiring we are doing, what type of mindset we are hiring? Because this you don't get from the resumes, this you don't get from the interview. So what is the solution? The solution lies in Sudakshta's solution oriented people index test. What does it do? It helps you to identify people who can take challenges, who can make them work, who will give you solutions, and who will drive the organization forward. Let's understand why a solution oriented person is required or is critical to the business success or critical to the organization. First of all, what they do. These solution oriented people are critical because they help us to identify the problem. They help us to collaborate. They have a questioning mind. These people take their own initiative, they have self belief, and they drive the innovation and the creativity in the organization, which is very important for driving the organization forward. How come? These people are like a beacon light for the organization. What does the beacon light do? They show the path. And if you have 10% or 20% people like this, the entire organization will develop the same philosophy. A mindset of solution oriented asset. This asset goes a long way in driving the progress of the organization, empowering growth, and moving forward. See, most of the global companies which you see have succeeded in their own area is not because only of technical expertise. They have succeeded because they have people with a solution oriented mindset. Let's understand which are the companies who do it. Microsoft does it, Apple does it, Netflix does it. And who are the leaders who encourage solution oriented mindset of people? It is some of the people are like Elon Musk, who focuses on bold innovations and solving global problems. Jeff Bezos, who is interested to get into customer oriented problems and solutions. Then we have Sundar Pichai. Then we have Tim Cook, all going for the traits which are required by solution oriented people. What are those? Problem solving ability, empathy, innovation, creativity, and so on. When we talk about Tim Cook or Apple, they will focus on innovation, they will focus on creativity, they will focus on excellence. These drive themselves, these help them to drive toward the progress and distinction and differentiation from other companies. So let's understand. Are you struggling to find people with the right mindset? How confident are you in hiring the right people? See, when we hire people from the resumes and interviews, what we do? We are able to see only thing which is there, apparently known to us. We are not able to see anything which is in the insights of the people. So, how do we do? This Sudakshta oriented, solution oriented test helps you to not only understand the insights, but also helps you to understand the alignment. Whether he is aligned with the high performance, whether he is aligned with the moderate performance, whether he is aligned with the average performance, or whether he is aligned with the low performance. And it gives you the insights how these people have to be trained, developed, low to moderate, moderate to high, and how high performing people or highly aligned people can be moved to the leadership role. So it gives you lot of insights, lot of takeaways, which we can always take a cue from the test. Let's understand now about the Sudakshta Solution Oriented People Index test. How does it help? This test gives you the index about the people whom we are hiring or the people who want to develop themselves. What will it give? It will give those who are highly aligned, those who are moderately aligned, those who are average aligned, and those who are low aligned. From this, our AI powered solution gives you lot of things which are required to understand the person and his development needs. So what are the challenges in hiring? The challenges in hiring is, yes, we know this person is good into technical expertise, but technical expertise does not work on its own. It has to be driven. When we say it has to be driven means it has to be a combination of several traits, several competencies, which a solution oriented person must have. Let's also understand the limitation of the traditional methods. The limitation of the traditional method is they are generic. They are not specific or predefined traits which makes them understand that this person is mapped against a solution oriented person. What they will tell you in traditional method? They will tell you that these are the 10 traits which are there in a person. But when we are asking that I require or you require a solution oriented person. So what we should be doing? We should be having certain specific traits, skills, competencies which are very much aligned to solution oriented. So here you are mapping the person specifically to the solution orientation. And what does traditional do? Traditional test gives you only a list of traits which says it is present in the person or not. Here what we say, we are doing domain based, we are doing designation based, we are doing trait based. So a person, a company who is looking for solution oriented people, they can always map through this test. What makes SSOPIT the ultimate solution for hiring solution oriented people or employees? It talks about the cognitive pattern, the behavior, the thinking, the mental framework. It also talks about the behavioral analysis, the challenges, the drives, creative solutions, and so on. It helps the companies, the HR to identify the top talent. When we select a group of people, it's very important to understand their pattern of behavior, their solution orientation, the problem solving abilities, whether they will be helping to build a high performance team or not. So these are some of the areas which the test focuses on. So how it happens and what it does. One of the best things it does is it throws growth opportunities for the individuals and also the company. If there are people with solution oriented abilities, so what will it do? It will create a company with people who have the abilities to solve big problems, complex problems, then give you solutions for the problems, make you understand the problems, and help you to drive the growth, drive the revenue, drive the competencies. So, as you go on solving the problems of the companies and the individual problems, what happens? The growth automatically moves. Now, let's understand how does SSO PIT helps. Sudakshta Solution Oriented People Index Test. When you take a test in its normal format or the existing test, what happens is we hardly know how scientific it is. Here, the test uses statistical data, it uses the user profile, it uses the unmasking to get you the accuracy to the level of 90-95%. It also helps you to find the best of the ability amongst the equals. It also helps you to find the skill gaps towards the company's objective, towards the individual objective. So, what is the objective of us? How does SSOPIT help people, employers? It helps us to do accurate evaluations. It helps to assess problem solving abilities, creativity, and decision making under pressure, ensuring that those people who it identifies are growth oriented people help to identify the problems and give creative solutions for the same. Next, what is there? They are prepared for the success. They take on challenges. They can contribute significantly to the growth of the organizations. And what are the AI insights? It analyzes the cognitive pattern, the behavior pattern, the thinking pattern of the individual, and also helps you on decision making based on data. These data driven insights can be taken from it because these are scientific data, the statistical data, which has come as a result of analyzing the patterns, the results, the outcomes, the behavior of the individual. It throws lot of light for the employers and HR on the suitability of the person, on the problem solving ability, on the thinking pattern, on the positive side of the person. This will give you a real time result of the person based on the validation test and statistics. Now let's understand how Sudakshta works. Sudakshta starts from as is where is assessment. Now what do you mean by as is where is assessment? We all know that we have a foundation level of assessment. What do you mean by foundation level assessment? Pre-assessment is we make the individual write on the competency level, the focus area, and also the pertinent action he or she need to do on that competency. There is a set of competencies which every individual before starting has to pre-assess himself or herself. What do we do next? We next move to the actual test. What does the test do? They are given a test with the multiple situations, multiple Likert scales, and they have to choose the best situation, best Likert scale which defines them. So how does the unmasking happens? We have taken 7.5 as the benchmarking. Now all those people who score 7.5 and above, this is moved to the part B of the test. The person is not given the result immediately after the test because the differentiation from the other test is like this. Other tests give you the result immediately after the test. Here we use Here we use your data to unmask your behavior. The unmasking the behavior means what? The unmasking the behavior means that we are going to test your executable skills. These skills, executable skills, matters most. How come it matters? Everyone with the lip service will say, I can do this, I can do that. But when it comes to the executable skills, it will show you the real time, the gaps with the individual has from what he says. And this is where the difference lies in selecting the right people. So, what we do, we make the person go through three validation processes: process 1, process 2, process 3. What is the process 1? Process 1 is that the person has to write 3 or 4 or 5 real time behavior from his personal life or professional life against the focus areas or the behaviors on which statement on which he has given himself very high rating. Second is comprehension reading. This comprehension reading is a real time situation where there are multiple questions from the competencies itself and the statement itself. So you have to give the right answer. AI on its own will give you and filter scientifically what actually is your unmasking score. Next, the final one is that it is a jumbles. It is a mix of sentence, matching the sentences where you will get the competency, you will get the focus area, and you will get the pertinent action or the actionable behavior. And you have to match all 3 or 4. If you are able to match, it will give you a score which is acceptable, and it will finally filter you whether you match with the original score or not. The challenge: traditional assessment falls short. What is exactly means? What is there for HR? What is there for employee? What is there for employer? We all should know and knows that traditional way of interview hardly speaks anything on the behavioral pattern, cognitive pattern, and there is always a threat that individuals overstate themselves during the interviews, and it is very difficult to get the insights of the person, to get the cognitive evaluation of the person, to get the index of cognitive thinking of the person, cognitive alignment with that competency. So how does we are able to do it, and how do we go about it? What should we do it? Let's take one or two more points on the traditional assessment. Most of the time, what happens if I say that person has to be sent for training? What do we do? The boss comes into picture, the HR comes into picture, the department comes into picture. What they do? They will just write a note that this person required this training and we send them. But is it the right way of doing it? No, it is not the right way of doing it. What we should be doing it? We should be having competency model for that designation. And we should be trying to map, we should try to map that individual against that competency model. So this traditional way of personality test or traditional test falls short of measuring that scientific way. But if you put this test or any other test, what will happen is scientifically with the use of AI, you will get lot of value, lot of inputs. Then what happens? Traditional way is one size fit for all. But does that work? No, that does not work. What we require? We require customized test for every position, every skill, every competencies. What will it do? It will throw light on the personalized requirement, customized skill development. And scientifically, it will use the user profile to against the competencies which has been mapped 20, 24, 25 competencies. There will be focus areas where these focus areas are very important. Traditional test does not give these things. It only gives you a list of traits, which can only show whether you have the traits or not. Whether you have the traits for that position, for that competency, that has to be measured. Predefined competencies are very important for moving the person, make him work, developing the person for his own growth and the growth of the company. Sudakshta's AI powered solution, AI driven scientific assessment. What it does, it uses the artificial intelligence to analyze the responses, providing deeper insights into candidate profile. It helps you to scientifically assess the candidate's behavior, his or her responses, and then convert it into the outcomes. How does the unmasking mechanism work? It detects and addresses the inconsistencies in the self-assessment. There is a lot of gap between the first test and the unmasking. These gaps are analyzed and brought to the fore. The person, the employer, and the HR all will be able to see what are the inconsistencies in the behavior pattern of the first test and the second test, the first outcome and the second outcome, and the gap which stands between the two. That is what gives you the real result. What is the unmasking mechanism? The unmasking mechanism is a beautiful philosophy which it follows. What is the philosophy? The philosophy is that it does not accept the score of the first test. It has to go through the process of unmasking. The unmasking gives another score, and the difference between the first score and the second score is the outcome, the real outcome of that gentleman or the individual. What it gives to the HR or employer? It gives the insights on the executable gap, the executable gaps between the first test and the second test. First test the individual might have got a score of 8.5 or 9. He may have liked a sentence or he may have ticked. But the real test comes in the second unmasking, where the person has to execute the skills against the behavior which he has selected. And this behavior throws lot of light, lot of decision making, lot of data on the person who is taking the test. This comes hand in hand with the developmental needs. This comes hand in hand with the technical needs or the behavioral needs. What is next? It helps you to throw a lot of light on the self-evaluation process, like the communication, the adaptability, the problem-solving ability, and a continuous learning and development. Scientifically, it assesses your need against the competency, shows you the gap, and makes you understand that these are the gaps of the soft skills or the learning which you have to do if you have to reach to the level of 8, 9, 10. Unique features of Sudakshta's age. What it does, the AI here does. The AI brings out the underlying features of the individual by through their responses to give you a new meaning in comparison to the first test. The first test has given you maybe a higher score, but it has not tested your executable skills. The AI, what it does, it filters all the data, uses your user profile, and then it gives you the actual result and outcome of your score. This score will be maybe different from the first score. What it does on the unmasking, offers real-time scenarios. Against that scenario you have to map yourself, put the responses in real-time situation. What does unmasking does? Here they filter your responses and matches with your profile and give you the outcome. So what happens? It will give you the gaps, the skills, the competencies which you need and which is maybe different from the first test. Next, the adaptive generation. It creates a personalized assessment. It is so accurate in that it uses your user profile, and against the user profile it gives you yours based on yours profile. What do you mean by user profile? User profile means based on the designation, based its responsibilities and all, it will give you the real time situation, the real time outcome, and it will also throw light on your behaviors which are in shortfall or there are gaps, and it will also tell you scientifically what actionable behaviors are required which a traditional test will not tell. Traditional test will also only give you a list of traits or competencies, but it will not unmask you, not discover or find out that what skills, competencies are required. It will only give you what is there in you or not, a list of traits or your plus points or positives. What is the process of Sudakshta assessment process? If you see in the diagram which is on the left hand side of yours, candidates take AI powered MCQ assessment, building detailed user profiles. What is this? With advanced AI algorithm, it identifies the inconsistencies or overestimations in self assertiveness or self assessment. What it does next? Dynamic unmasking evaluation. These dynamic unmasking evaluations are administered including real life scenarios. The real life scenarios are put into test, put into assessment, and then the AI filters that based on your real life situation and gives you the result. It gives you the actionable insights. Most of the traditional tests which HR or employer are using or individuals are using, it only gives you a set of traits or competencies or skills which you have in you, but it will not tell you what are the insights of the skills which you require, what are the intricacies of your personality, what are the shortfall in your personality, what are the gaps in your personality, and what against those behaviors which is being shown in the test, what actionable behavior you require, point to point, outcome to action. These are all done here scientifically with AI. Now let's sum up and conclude what we have seen from stage 1 to now. This test is called Sudakshta Solution Oriented People Index Test. What it brings for HR and employer, it gives you the index, it gives you the alignment from high alignment to moderate to average and to low. So what it brings to the fore? It brings to the fore that if you take this test and execute it for your employees before hiring and after hiring, you will get the best set of minds with the best mindset available. These people who are solution oriented will build your company, will build your strength. You will have better growth compared to an ordinary employee who has not been tested through this test. What else? What is the message for the HR? Don't hire just on the basis of resume and interview. Spend some time to get the best talent, to have the differentiation, and at least use it for manager leadership people who will drive the success in your organization. Success is not limited to only resume and interview. Success is word which means the personality has to be success oriented. So what drives the success? It is the mindset, it is the cognitive abilities, it is the problem solving ability, it is the creativity, the innovation, and it is the drive. Thank you so much for attending Stu Valley Talks. We will meet again in our next session and we'll keep you informed. Thank you.